Hello, good evening. My name is Jamal W. Childs, a medical retired Army veteran. I'm sitting outside of the Terra Cafe, 101 East 25th Street in Baltimore, Maryland. They have some wonderful food and drinks. You should come by when you get a chance. This next topic I'm talking about is PTSD combat related. What a lot of people don't understand is that people that have been exposed to combat zones might have a different level of mental disorders. PTSD is an umbrella of conditions. It's not one condition. It could be nightmares, panic attacks, mood swings, anxiety, anger. It fluctuates. Now, if a person has been in combat and they got limbs missing or traumatic brain injury, or they've been blown up, or they jumped out of a helicopter or plane and had to end up killing people, or jumped out of planes at night, or was in tanks and ran over top of people, and trucks that ran over top of people. When I say people, I mean our people, which are military, and the enemy. PTSD is not one condition. PTSD can be combat related and non-combat related. You can get PTSD for being on a training exercise. I have non-combat related PTSD from welding accident and welding different situations in the military. So it's like trying to explain to these people that whatever mental disorder you have, you need to go to a psychiatrist, to a therapist, or somebody to give you a proper diagnosis of a mental condition from being in the military. Now, it's my understanding from Dr. Bashard and Dr. Lieberman that when I first went into the PTSD groups and things of this nature, that nobody comes out the military unscathed. You could have some kind of anxiety disorder, sleep disorder. You might went to the gas chamber and have paranoia or what they call claustrophobia and things of this nature. So we can't sit up there and say, rule anything out. You feel the way you feel. It's almost 22 veterans, if I'm correct, or 21 veterans a year, not a year, I'm wrong, 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. That's the numbers. They are what they are. Now, it's 2,000 facilities for veterans across the United States, and most of them have mental health facilities where they can facilitate. Sometimes you have to fight to get the medication, fight to get the treatment, fight to get the diagnosis, but it's always going to be a fight because it's really not set up to listen to the veterans. And I know what I'm talking about. A lot of veterans getting misdiagnosis, no diagnosis, got to keep on explaining to the VA, Benefits Administration, the Health Administration, where they was at, what they did. You know, you could be down in Panama doing jungle training, or Fort Drum, New York, freezing yourself out there to death. Who knows? So, you know, if you got frostbite, that's traumatic. If you repelled, that could be traumatic. If you jumped off the diving board in boot camp in Great Lakes, that could be traumatic. Really, truthfully speaking, nobody can determine what's traumatic and what is not traumatic when it comes to dealing with certain situations. So you feel the way you feel. I mean, females take things in different than males. And I have to say that because, you know, being around a lot of people in a congested environment, lack of sleep, lack of food, lack of sex, and a whole style is not normal. Being in the military is not a normal type lifestyle. You have to be a unique individual to commit your whole body to being something for somebody else or something for yourself. It's like flip-flop. One day you was a civilian, then the next day you're military. It's like, you know, what do you do with that? You know, I come from East Baltimore and end up in the service, and next thing I know, I'm doing all this stuff that, you know, throwing grenades and shooting weapons and things of this nature. It's like, you know, first it was fun, but it, you know, at a point in time, that stuff got kind of horrific. So these veterans that are combat need to go on, get put in for the Gulf War registry. They need to also look on the presumptive illnesses for Gulf War veterans. That's online. They need to get a diagnosis for some kind of mental disorder from being in a combat zone. If you have medals, you factor your medals, a Bronze Star or Purple Hearts. If you have you've been in combat and you receive a Bronze Star, Purple Heart. If you got your limbs missing or blown up, TBIs and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? People say, well, I'm a combat and I'm only 90% service connected, but I got 3 tours of combat. That's a wrong answer. Your body's getting stressed like a rubber band, physically and mentally. It was 690,000 veterans, service members in the field in Iraq at one time. How could all those people come back home and be the same? That's mathematically impossible. So, oh, you went over there, you come back the same. So you've seen horrific situations on a consistent basis. Just having a lack of food or a lack of hygiene, not being able to take a bath, that's going to, bother you and things. Look, the most disrespected, let me fix my hat. Disrespected veteran is a Vietnam veteran. Your service has not been acknowledged the way it should be acknowledged. No Vietnam vet that was exposed to Agent Orange should go to no VA system, benefits administration, and health administration say, well, what's that on your skin? What's that in your blood? Where did you get the cancer from? It's utterly ridiculous. Agent Orange is Agent Orange. Then you got another situation. It's still with the Camp Lejeune Marines. So you got Marines that are combat related and Marines with a Camp Lejeune. They say, well, we don't know how come you got all these cancers and all the stuff like that, right? And they do it over and over and over again. Nobody knows nothing. You go to every VA system, we don't know what happened to you. We know you got a DD2 14. Thank you for your service. But the point of the matter, you thank me for the service and you're not giving me a check so I can sustain my life and take care of my family, things this needs, because I got to go to the hospital because I got a cancer in my body. And you got these females with all these different female disorders because, guess what? Let's talk about it. They wasn't having periods when was in the military. Gynecological disorders, secondary to what? The underwear they were wearing, or the soap powder and stuff like that cause infections. And then a lot of these women have vaginitis where they have yeast infections and things of this nature. So imagine a female in a combat zone. Let's think about that. There's a lot of y'all out there. Lack of hygiene causes diseases. You take a lot of shots before you go overseas. Shoot you there, shoot you there, shoot you there. It's side effects to those shots. It's side effects to anthrax shots, things of that nature. So why is it that you got to ask over and over again to the Health Administration and Benefits Administration about what's wrong with it? They have the CFR book, Title 38, Veterans Pensions, CFR book, Title 38, Pensions, wait a minute, CFR book, Title 38, Bonuses, Pensions, Veterans Relief, Part 4. That book has over 1,200 conditions we can file claims on. Then you go on Military Disabilities Made Easy and type in your conditions. The main thing is that you need to get your military medical records from www.archives.gov, order those records, and file everything in the file. This is what the service reps do. They don't put all the claims in. So if you've been in the military 33 years and you got 40 claims in there, you need to put 40 claims in, not 5 claims. It's all occupational. And before you took the first physical, before you went in the service, guess what? Most of y'all didn't have these conditions. So what I'm saying to you, that we got to be more put in place to do the research in our particular situations. It's not arguing or fussing or bitching and things of this nature. It is what it is. People sit up and act like, well, all these veterans hospitals, like in the state of Maryland, over 3,000 veterans go into hospitals in the state of Maryland between Monday and Friday. Why would 3,000 people go in a hospital every day unless something was wrong with them? It makes no sense to me. Now, here I am, 55 years old, pleading to you people, wherever you at, remember something, this is about you. It doesn't matter what nobody else thinks. It's about how you feel about yourself and what's going on with you. If you got limbs missing and it's legitimate, or you're getting ready to get a surgery and it's legitimate, you need to file claims for that stuff. Don't act like you went in the military and then you come home and you know what? I'm not going to do nothing. And I'm going to end this conversation with this. If you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And depression is one of our biggest enemies. People, I'm not going to do it because I'm depressed. Well, guess what? You're going to die with no other entitlements. And you probably could help your family or stuff like that. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying to you is, right, please try to find a way to address your Veterans Administration, Benefits Administration, and your Health Administration in whatever state you live at. Biggest bamboozle, the octopus. Shooting dye, tentacles all over the place, telling lies. They got all them websites and all them blogs and all that stuff like that. Check this out. It's a way to navigate that so you can get the proper entitlements and benefits to help yourself and to sustain your family, and may God bless you.